discuss the resolution, let me place you before one or two things. I want you to understand two things very clearly, and to consider them from the same point of view from which I am placing them before you. I ask you to consider it from my point of view, because if you approve of it, you will be enjoyed to carry out all I say. It will be a great responsibility. There are people who ask me whether I am the same man that I was in 1920, or whether there has been a change in me. You are right in asking that question. Let me, however, hasten to assure that I am the same Ghandi as I was in 1920. I have not changed in any fundamental respect. I attach the same importance to nonviolence that I did then. If at all, my emphasis on it has grown stronger. There is no real contradiction between the present resolution and my previous writings and utterances. Occasions like the present do not occur in everybody's, and but rarely in anybody's life. I want you to know and feel that there is nothing but purest absminal in all that I am saying and doing today. The draft resolution of the working committee is based on asthma, the contemplated struggle similarly as its roots in ahisma. If therefore there is any among you who has lost faith in ashisma or is wearied of it, let him not vote for his resolution. Let me explain my position clearly. God has vouchsafed to me a priceless gift in the weapon of ashisma. I and my ahisma are on our trial today. If in the present crisis, when the earth is being scorched by the flames of hisma too, and crying for deliverance, I failed to make sure of the God-given talent, God will not forgive me, and I shall be judged unwrongly of the great gift. I must act now. I may not hesitate and merely look on when Russia and China are threatened. Ours is not a drive for power, but purely a non-violent fight for India's independence. In a violent struggle, a successful general has been often to effect a military coup and to set up a dictatorship. But under the Congress scheme of things, essentially non-violent as it is, there can be no room for dictatorship. A non-violent soldier for freedom will covet nothing for himself if he fights only for the freedom of this country. The Congress is unconcerned as to who he will rule when freedom is attained. The power, when it comes, will belong to the people of India, and it will be for them to decide whom it place and be entrusted. May be that he reigns will be placed in the hands of Perseus, for instances as I would love to see happen, or they may be handled to some others whose names are not heard in the Congress today. It will not be for you then to object, saying, this community is microscopic. That party did not play in its due part in its freedom struggle. Why should it have all the power? Ever since its inception, the Congress has kept itself meticulously free of the communal taint. It has been thought always in terms of the whole nation, has acted accordingly. I know how imperfect our ahisma is and how far away we are still from the ideal, but in ahisma there is no final failure or defeat. I have faith, therefore, that if, in spite of our shortcomings, the big thing does happen, it will be because God wanted us by crowning with success our silent, unremitting sadhana for the last 20 years. I believe that in the history of the world there has not been a more genuinely democratic struggle for freedom than ours. I read Carlyle's French Revolution when I was in prison, and Pandit Jawaharlal has told me something about the Russian Revolution. But it is my conviction that inasmuch as these democracy which I have envisaged, a democracy established by nonviolence, there will be equal freedom for all. Everybody will be in his own master. It is to join a struggle for such democracy that I invite you today. Once you realize this, you will forget the differences between the Hindus and the Muslims, and think of yourselves as Indians only, engaged in the common struggle for independence. Then there is the question of your attitude towards the British. I have noticed that there is hatred towards the British among the people. The people say they are disgusted with their behavior. The people make no distinction between British imperialism and the British people. To them, the two are the same. This hatred would even make them welcome to the Japanese. It is more dangerous. It means that they will exchange one slavery for another. We must get rid of this feeling. One quarrel is not with the British people, we fight their imperialism. The proposal for the withdrawal of British power did not come out of any. It came to enable India to play its due part at the present critical juncture. It is not a happy position for a big country like India to be merely helping with money and material obtained willy-nilly from her while the United Nations are conducting the war. We cannot invoke the true spirit of sacrifice of the war. So long as we are not free, I know the British government will not be able to withhold freedom from us when we have made enough self-sacrifice. We must therefore purge ourselves of hatred. Speaking for myself, I can say that I have never felt any hatred. As a matter of fact, I feel myself to be a greater friend of the British now than ever before. One reason is that they are today in distress. My very friendship therefore demands that I should try to save them from their mistakes. As I view the situation, they are on the brink of my abyss. It has therefore become my duty to warn them as of their danger, even though it may, from the time being anger, are then to point off cutting off the friendly hand that is stretched out to them. People may laugh, nevertheless, that is my claim. At a time when I have to launch the biggest struggle of my life, I may not harbor hatred against anybody.